Hello, welcome to Love You Longmont on Longmont Channel 8. I'm Dr. Linda Bond and I'm so excited to be talking about the arts and culture in Longmont. This has been a really exciting time in the news. 5280, the Denver magazine, is called Longmont, the Burgeoning Burg. Says downtown Longmont has become an affordable oasis for fledgling artisans. We have Beryl DeRosa with us, and she's the executive director of the Firehouse Art Center. Beryl, tell us a little bit about the Firehouse.
Sure. So the Firehouse originated in 1901. Actually, it's a historic landmark. It was the first fire department in Longmont. So that's really exciting. But in 1986, the building really was kind of up for grabs, and the city wanted to figure out what to do with the building. And therefore, a group of artists came together and founded the Art Studio, Inc. The original idea behind that was to give artists a space to create in downtown Longmont, as well as to promote and provide arts education in the area. And so we've stayed true to that for 31 years now. We continue to do so, as well as bringing exceptional and cutting-edge art exhibits every single month from local, regional, and national artists from around the country.
How do you choose the artists? Who makes that decision?
Sure. So we have a wonderful curator. Her name is Jessica Kuiman-Parker. She's been with us for 4 years. She was a previous executive director, and she really has a calling and a true nature for bringing creative art exhibits to the area.
And you have 2 exhibits each time.
Correct. So we have the main gallery and the south gallery. Although it's a smaller gallery downtown, there's a lot of space for people to be able to do that. One of my favorite programs in the south gallery is we actually host for 3 months an artist in residence, which is sponsored by the Cand-Aid Foundation. So we have an artist that comes in for 3 months and works in the south gallery. That's their working space. The community can come and talk and meet with them and learn all about what they're working on for them to eventually be into the main gallery in their last month during that.
And one more exciting thing is that some artists get to have their studio there full time. We went out on location and we talked to Rick Stoner, one of your artists. Let's look at that right now. This is Rick Stoner, and Rick is the artist in residence at the Firehouse. Now, what does it mean to be an artist in residence?
It doesn't mean that I live here, but
Oh, that's good.
it means that I am up here a lot. But residence is probably more the idea of being, I've been here a long time. I work here pretty much every day. This is my profession, full-time job essentially. And I've been paying rent here for a long time. It's a city-owned building. So I've probably been here 25 years, maybe 30 years.
Wow.
Almost since the inception of this whole project that got started downtown.
How wonderful it must be to have a studio in a place you can come to every day, close up every night, know everything's going to be there in the morning.
Oh, it's great. It's really cool. Plus it's downtown.
Yeah.
So I get to stare out the windows a lot and waste time, watch people walking up and down the streets, crossword puzzles, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So I get to keep active in what's going on in this area.
How would you describe your art? What kind of an artist are you?
Probably it's representational, meaning mostly what I do is like this, the decoy. What you see is kind of what you get. There are aspects of it that are not completely, I like to do little puzzles in them sometimes, but like these are Chinese characters that says duck soup.
Oh, how wonderful.
I have no idea where that came from. I like the characters. So.
Is it related to the Marx Brothers at all?
You know what?
It might be.
Probably subliminally. It has something to do, although I haven't seen that movie for a long time.
Right. Do people come and visit you here? And I mean, like, could young people come and see what you're doing?
Absolutely, yeah. It's open. I always have my door open. I never turn anybody away.
Wonderful.
So I do teaching. I do some classes up here as well. But Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's a public space.
That's great.
So I enjoy showing the space and the work, and so yeah, it's always open for anybody that wants to take the time to walk up the stairs.
Well, both you and your space look like what an artist is supposed to look like. You're paint splattered. I love it. Thank you so much for letting us visit you here.
Thank you, Linda.
One of my first experiences in Longmont was coming to the Firehouse Art Center, and it felt like a party. It felt like things were happening there all of the time. It was so exciting. And I was able to go upstairs and meet with these artists. There are 3 of them, and we were lucky enough to get to meet 2 of them. Let's look at what Dwayne Wolfe had to say about his space.
Sounds great.
This is the artist Dwayne Wolfe, and this is his subject, Chester. Now, most people don't get to take their dog to work with them. How lucky are you?
Well, it's very lucky. The Firehouse, it's a privilege to have a studio here. The staff is super supportive. I wouldn't have a studio if I didn't have a studio here. I'd be working at home. But
You do a lot of your work on location, or a lot of your prep on location. I see that you have an iPad over there.
Yes.
How do you work?
well, I have my iPhone. I usually work from photos, but not always. I'm doing a landscape series based on the St. Green Greenway.
Oh,
Because I walk Chester there all the time, so it's like natural. And what you see on the wall here and on my easel is the result of that, walking on the Greenway and just taking shots.
well, it's a beautiful area. The whole
Yes.
area around Longmont is really beautiful, and that must be inspiring. But I see that Chester's in a lot of your paintings.
Well, I have to confess, I'm smitten with him since he's my dog. But I've done a series of monoprints with him, and also some paintings.
That's
Just a little
wonderful.
bit natural to feature my dog.
How long have you been an artist at the
Well, I've been here
Firehouse?
for about 16 years now.
Wow,
Started
that's
in
wonderful.
2001. I had not been involved with the art community up to that point, but I noticed like the art walks and stuff, and I'd been doing art, but not full time. And I decided I wanted to get back into it, so I mounted a show of portraits of local people in 2001 downstairs, and that led to me having a studio up here because I got to know the staff.
That is
There was an
wonderful.
opening, and I got in.
Well, could you talk a little bit about the kind of art you do? Would you call it realistic, or?
I call it contemporary. I'm trying to get away from being strictly realistic and try to put a little more roughness or looseness in it.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think my earlier work, if you look at some of it, is pretty. I tried to be exacting, but I'm trying to back off from that just a little bit because I think it's more expressive to be a little loose too.
I like that. Do people get to come and see you here at your studio at the Firehouse?
Well, I do have a job. I'm a graphic specialist. I do work for HP. I
Wow.
work from home. So I usually can't get here during the day, but late afternoons I come up, and every second Friday I'm open, and people are welcome to come because the Firehouse is open on second Fridays. So I love having that opportunity to meet people at least once a month.
Well, I like that you're a technical guy, but you have this wonderful artistic side, a free side.
Well, it was, I started doing this, then I got into the computer graphic stuff, and that's how I make my living, basically. But then I felt I was missing this.
Dwayne, you have a brand new way of promoting your art that's been really successful.
Yeah, over the years I've tried getting in galleries and whatnot. Sometimes you get in and then you don't sell, or you sell and you don't get paid. It can be a real hassle. But last year I started looking at Amazon, and I realized they had a curated fine art section. And it's not through Amazon per se, but they partner with gallery sites. So I applied to several of them, and I got accepted by one. And I've sold more that way than I've ever sold through a gallery.
Thank you so much, Dwayne.
Thank you.
And thank you, Chester. Beryl, let's talk about Second Fridays. What a great concept.
Definitely. So I would say I'm going to have to check on this date, but a couple of years ago, the Longmont Creative District was created downtown. And behind that is Visit Longmont and the Longmont Downtown Development Authority, who came up with the concepts of Second Friday, where all of the galleries downtown, as well as businesses and restaurants, get to stay open a little bit later from 6 to 9 on every second Friday and open their doors to the public so they can come in, sample some food and see the new things that are going on in their businesses. It's really a fun, great way for us to introduce our artists to the community, and so we always call Second Friday our opening reception for our new shows, and we always have the new artist at the exhibit there to talk with you about their pieces.
What a brilliant idea. That's very smart. One of the other things that I think we should stress is it's not only the visual arts, but the printed word. What about some of the workshops and things you do?
Sure. So along with Second Friday, every single Friday we have consistent programming at the Firehouse. We have First Friday film nights, Second Friday, then we have our writers workshop and a poetry night. And we also just started partnering with the Peace Creators group who do an open mic night to talk about peace and diversity in the community. So it's very diverse. Our poetry program, though, is one of my favorites, and I know you got to visit with one of our poets.
Did. Well, we spoke to David Bailey, and he is the self-proclaimed poet laureate of the Firehouse. Let's look at that. This is David Bailey, and David is the self-proclaimed poet laureate of the Firehouse. Now, there are wonderful opportunities for poets here at the Firehouse. What sort of things do you all do in a month?
So every month we have, for the third Friday, 7 to 9 p.m., we have a workshop. One of our volunteers or poets gives prompts to, let's talk about love or rain or whatever. And then the last Friday in the month, we actually have a live poetry reading. People come in, sign up, and it's quite lovely. There's everything from I love life to what do I do with my life?
That's great.
Yeah, and also 7 to 9.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, what's the criteria for that? Does somebody have to be acknowledged as a poet to come and take a workshop or just to perform?
Absolutely not. It's amazing, the people that come and say, well, I'm not a poet, and then we give a prompt, and then they read these very honest things, and it's like, okay, you may not consider yourself a poet, but you just demonstrated that you are, and so that's the beauty of it, is sharing and getting constructive feedback, and usually we have some goodies to eat as well. It's just a good time for being here and being in this wonderful place.
Well, you are known as the most prolific poet in Longmont. How many poems did you write last year?
That's another self-declaration. Last year I wrote 803.
Oh, my.
And I'm off pace so far. I've only written 81 so far this year.
What inspires you?
Oh, what doesn't? The weather, someone happy, often if I love walking Longmont, and sometimes you see people and you can tell that they're trying to work something out, and sometimes I try to make some educated guesses of maybe what that's about, and it always ends up that I get in the mix of that as well.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
Well, David, you wrote a poem from a source that I don't know most people would have thought of. Tell us about this poem you're going to read for us today.
Okay. So I've been volunteering here for a little over 2 years, and we have a old, wonderful typewriter where we allow people to make comments, and sometimes people say really interesting things, and I decided that it was a challenge of what if I took a sheet of all these words and used them in a poem, only using them one at a time, and some come pretty organically. Other times, I write something and then I have a bunch of words like, oh, where do I put them? But it's a nice challenge for me. It's a prompt that I like to do actually in workshops.
Well, please read it to us.
Sure. So, and the title is part of the words in the comments. So this is entitled, "Your Day Made Okay, Ever Here, Its Look, View, Grow." How marvelous manifest the madness around historic lime, mortar work, ability to reduce, reuse, recycle kisses like nice exhibit in good French. When you fly, splendid friend, do you need fashion? There was love and use, aspen trees through cement, safe from need. All I have is Little Italy. So indeed, beautiful Colorado is part art, port of wonderful brick art, typewriter advice, signs Heather Bear, thanks for this place, part of hello.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Beryl, after seeing these wonderful artists and hearing the poetry, I'll bet people would like to take a class at the Firehouse.
I bet they would, and there's lots of opportunities, especially for kids. We have Saturday art classes every single Saturday that children and their parents can drop the kids off. It goes from 12 to 1 for ages 5 through 8, and ages 9 through 12 can attend from 1 till 2. We have a wonderful teacher. His name is Mario Olvera, and he's been teaching with us for over 7 years now. Quite fantastic. He also teaches for a couple of our other programs. We do offer special programs to the community. One in specific that is my favorite is our Art of Possibilities program. It's for individuals with disabilities, and we actually bring a group from Imagine once a month to the Firehouse to explore the exhibit, talk about the artwork, and then do an art project based on that. It really helps with socialization, and we have Bradley Books and Ann Noble who teach those classes. Now, one of my favorite classes that Mario teaches is called Art Attack. He partners with Casa de la Esperanza and Longmont Children, Youth and Families, and every single week he goes down to Casa as well as Longmont Children, Youth and Families and teaches an art class for them. Twice a month they actually get to come to the Firehouse, see the exhibit, and work in the Firehouse. It's a great way to build community as well as to provide arts education throughout the area. It's really at a grassroots level a lot of the time, but it really impacts the most important underserved populations that we can in the community.
And it says arts are for everyone.
Exactly, because it is. And I think everyone has their own artistic forms, and I think, at the Firehouse we get to cultivate that and give people the opportunity to be inspired and to create.
You have some special events also, like a big gala?
Do. Yes, so June 3rd we'll have the Firehouse Gala. We're going to be partnering with a local business downtown. More information is coming soon on that. We also have our 5th annual Katrina Ball this year, which is going to be held on November 3rd at the Dickens Opera House, so we're looking forward to that. And then we have another very exciting project in the works. Can't talk about it yet, but I'm sure I'll be back later this year to tell you more.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you, Beryl. That's been Beryl Durazo from the Firehouse Arts Center telling us about all the exciting opportunities there are for you in Longmont. You might be looking for us. The Channel 8 crew will be on the streets looking for more arts and cultural opportunities here in Longmont. I'm Linda Bond. I want to thank you for being with us. See you later, and love you, Longmont.
What I love about Longmont is it's still a small town with lots of great things to do, from art and events, and people still know your name.
Love you, Longmont.
Love you, Longmont.